Major cities across China have been loosening coronavirus curbs as the government appears to be orchestrating a shift away from its strict zero COVID policy. Now, this following a series of anti-lockdown demonstrations late last month in what had been the biggest show of public discontent on the mainland since President Xi Jinping took power. And more relaxation is on the way. Shanghai will be doing away with test requirements for most public places. That's starting tomorrow. And Reuters sources say 10 new COVID-19 easing measures may be released as soon as this Wednesday. Other reports say that Beijing is considering scaling down its management of the virus as early as next month. Reaction to the easing of measures has been mixed.
一开始是比较开心的啦，然后后面就比较还是稍微有点担心的，因为后面要自己还是要做好防护吧，就是去哪里口罩是不能摘了，对，因为大家都放开了，所以自己还是要注意一下。
For more, Lo Minmin joins us live now. Minmin, it's evident there's some uncertainty there among residents about China's COVID policy. What's led to this confusion?
Well, it's because this patchwork easing of curbs have been announced in drips and drabs, and different provinces, different cities have completely different rules. For instance, in Shanghai, on Sunday, people were told that they no longer require COVID-19 swab tests to enter public transport, but they still needed to go into most offices, malls, and restaurants. And so people complained that these rules, they don't make sense. They don't make any practical changes to their lives if they still need COVID tests to enter most places. And then a day later, the government said that the test is not required for most places except hospitals, schools, restaurants, entertainment venues. And so these rules, they keep changing every few hours, every few days. It's a lot to keep track of. Some places are now allowing close contacts to quarantine at home. Other places like Shanghai have not announced that yet. So local authorities, they are still, requiring some time to shift to this new mindset of loosening those curbs, even as cases continue to spread. And because some cities have cancelled mass testing, those infection numbers are beginning to come down, but they don't necessarily reflect the true extent of how widespread COVID-19 is in China. And that adds another layer of confusion to people.
Well, that confusion and uncertainty notwithstanding, Minmin, there are growing expectations about Beijing perhaps downgrading the management of COVID-19 even further. Can we expect more announcements perhaps in the coming days or weeks?
Yes, there is a lot of expectation that the government could announce more measures to roll back those curbs. And among them, they could possibly allow COVID patients with mild symptoms to quarantine at home. None of these new measures have been announced yet, but state media has been trying to shift the narrative of people's perception towards COVID-19, publishing articles saying that there is not much evidence of long COVID and telling people that getting COVID-19 is not such a big deal. And so many experts are saying that the government messaging has been crystal clear in recent days. They don't think that the government is going to backpedal on the policy changes anymore. But we can't rule out that the government may still rely on lockdowns and COVID restrictions if COVID-19 deaths spiral out of control and if hospitals get overwhelmed, because we must expect cases to continue to skyrocket in the coming months as China moves towards reopening. So it's going to be a road with a lot of twists and turns ahead.
So more to come on that. Thank you very much, Minmin, for that update. Lo Minmin there. Well, Chinese markets have rallied on the prospect of the country perhaps easing COVID curbs further. And Liz is tracking that for us. Liz.
Thanks, Don. That's right. So traders, they cheered today China's easing of virus rules that had led investors to cut their exposure in Asia's biggest economy. Now, Hong Kong stocks kicked off the week strong. Hang Seng ending about 4.5% higher. It is today's best performer in Asia. Meantime, Shanghai Composite ending the day about 1.7% higher, while the Shenzhen component ending about 1% in the green. Now, despite today's gains, these markets have all still shed about 20% this year. Over in Forex trade, the offshore yuan firming up past the psychological 7 per dollar level, but it's come down slightly since. Economists are bringing forward their forecasts of a full reopening by China, which could attract fresh foreign inflows. The onshore spot yuan, meantime, also strengthening against the greenback.